Hello, welcome back to my studio. Today I'm going to be painting yachts in oil paint, so stick around and get some useful tips on how to paint this amazing subject. As I said, I'm going to be painting yachts in oil paints, and I'm going to be using some art materials I received in the mail, and it's from a company called Smart Art Box. You can find out more about them at smartartbox.com. And the materials came in a box like this. It came all the way from the USA to me in South Africa, so that's pretty cool. So what Smart Art Box does is provide a subscription service where you can pick the subscription that suits you, and each month you get art materials delivered to your door. And they change from month to month, so it's a great way to find out more about different mediums and subjects that you can try and paint or draw or watercolor or whatever they send to you. So I'm going to do a quick unboxing for you and show you the materials and then jump into some painting. And I hope you enjoy this little demonstration. Oh, here's the box from Smart Art Box, so let's open that up. And nicely wrapped up here, and that looks like a lot of art materials in there. So let's take a look, starting at the top. A couple of Princeton bristle brushes. Princeton, quite a good brand of brush makers. And these are the basic bristle brushes, a fan brush and a round brush. And here's some painting tips or suggested paintings in a pamphlet from Royal Tarlins. Smart Art pamphlet, and it looks like more suggested paintings. Here's a history of impasto painting and a couple of projects to try out, step-by-step instructions. So that's handy for a guide if you want to try a project out. You can follow that and you can send in photos to them as well. What have we here? 2 packs of canvas textured boards. These are made by Crescent. It's actually very nice, lightweight boards, 5x7 inch. There's actually 3 in each pack, so 6 boards in all. That should give us plenty to practice with. And very nice little texture on that. Hey, painting knives, a whole set. That's my favorite shape there, and I use painting knife for many things, mixing paint and of course applying paint to a canvas. So let's get that open and have a look. So that's, as I said, my favorite shape. These are all metal, so that's pretty nice, not the usual cheap plastic ones. So if you need some painting knives, there they go. And what have we got? There's something for half time. Let's have a look at these oil colors. 24 tubes, Royal Tarlins Art Creation. So it looks like quite a lot of paint, 12mm tubes. Let's have a look inside. So that's a large set of oil paints, more than you need in most paintings, so no shortage there. Let's have a quick look. And I think it's time to get these paints working, put all the materials to work, and let's see what we can create. Right, let's open up the packet of Crescent canvas textured boards, get one taped up, and I can start the painting. I'm going to use most of these brushes and set out Most of the typical paints I'm going to use, but I'm going to add cobalt blue as an extra color, together with cerulean and ultramarine, and then the alizarin crimson, orange, yellow, yellow ochre, and burnt sienna, and of course white. Starting with a horizon line, and I try and relate all the shapes to that. Now, I'm not working from a particular reference, but I know what I'm going to paint, and I'm doing the quick composition where I'm going to situate the yachts, and they're sort of lined up and facing us, and that is all I really need in the rule of thirds, so it's placed in the right place. That's going to be a harbour wall, and then I'm going to block in the dark shapes, and that's sort of a embankment behind the harbour wall. This is based on a scene from one of the towns near where I live, and it's got steep sort of a cliff behind. And then once the darks are in, you put in the lights, and then into the light middle values as well. Most of the water in this case will be the lightest light, reflecting the sky. And this is a case of building up layers of color. This is the first blocking in stage, practically done. And once that is complete, then you start layering the thicker paint. Getting the few of the smaller details in place. Now bringing in paint. Now this is a painting knife's quite useful for this, obviously, to bring in a large amount of paint very quickly. But I will work over it with a brush, because the brush produces the little magic shapes and happy accidents and that brush texture that I'm looking for. Bit darker blues in the foreground. It's kind of a shadow almost, you could say, in the water, but then the interesting shapes in the background, just starting to work from the top down. And of course, I like to get into the water and get that done. As you can see, I'm using a lot of paint on the palette, putting a lot of paint on the brush, and all I do is try and develop the subject and make it part of the scene. Just relate everything to each other. Texture of paint, volume of paint. Now these yachts, there's a light side and there's a shadow side. That's the most important thing. You've got to show those two. The light's coming from our left to right and striking the sides of the yachts. Some nice bright color in the buoys in the water. Clean up the palette a bit and start with a few more of the details. Some paint in to create the masts, and then cutting in with background color just to also shape the masts as well. If they're a bit too thick or don't look right, just cut in, and that helps in many ways, developing the background and a foreground element. So cutting in is an important technique. Suggestion of a few more buildings in the distant harbour wall area. Once that's done, then I'll move back into completing the water. And basically, when I'm doing water like this, I keep going until I'm satisfied And it sounds a bit vague, but it really is. You'll know when it's ready. A few important things to keep in mind, obviously, is try and create a sense of depth, which I've done with the light water in the background and then the more textured, darker water in the foreground. Some highlights on the light side of the yachts, and don't forget, you got to add some shadows under the yachts to attach them to the surface, and on the shadow side of the yacht as well, so it all reads correctly. And really it's almost complete already. Just a few more little details, especially some more details in the yacht masts. I'm going to re-establish those just loosely with a little rigger brush this time. Of course, I don't know much about yachts, but that's not a worry with an impression like this. You're just creating a sense of light and color. Lovely verticals always help. And a few final touches, and it's pretty much done. And you can decide how it turned out. I'm pretty happy with it, and a nice little study. Well, I had fun with this painting. And if you also want to find out more about Smart Art Box, just look them up at smartartbox.com. Now, the oil paints are received in this box. While they are not professional or artist quality, they are not meant to be used for professional purposes. It's a good introduction to oil paints, and I think it'll be great for anyone who just wants to create something new each month and get a nice delivery and a pleasant surprise when they open their box of artist materials. Also, for teaching, homeschooling or things like that, it's a great way to introduce children to different art mediums and create an instant art lesson with them. So I think that is a real amazing part of a service like this. Well, I hope you learned something new, even if it's just about the materials, or hopefully how to try and paint these yachts as well and create something fun for yourself. Remember to check the end roll of this video for more painting videos, and also if you follow the link up here, find a free painting course that you can try out right away. Well, if you haven't subscribed also to this channel, please go ahead and do that, and you'll be notified of the next video coming next week. Until next time, cheers for now.